Well, dear students, in my previous class, I have completed the NEET portion and MCQs of digestion and absorption. After that, I took locomotion and movement chapter. So, in the recent class, I have completed that chapter as well. So, today let's start with the MCQs, the NEET of same chapter, that is locomotion movement. Very important chapter as far as the human physiology is concerned and medical physiology is concerned, because in your first year medicine and in medical MBBS, in under anatomy you study all these things, much detail about that. Here, whatever is there that we have done. In fact, when compared to that medical anatomy, here it's basic things. So let's start few questions about that. The number of cervical vertebrae in camel. First of all, cervical vertebrae refers to the vertebrae that are found present in the neck. Where they are found present? They are found present in the neck region. And during my explanation, I told you that all mammals, this is the characteristic of all mammals, that all mammals possess 7 bones in their neck or 7 vertebrae, and such vertebrae are known as cervical vertebrae. The question here is number of cervical vertebrae in camel, because camel has comparatively a longer and neck, whereas the giraffe has the longest neck. So here he is asking, find number of cervical vertebrae in camel is more than that of rabbit, less than that of rabbit. No, I told you in all the mammals it is the number of cervical vertebrae are 7 and they are same in all. So it is same as that of whale. You all very well know that whale is also a mammal. It is due to secondary adaptation, it has migrated into the aquatic habitat due to the lack of food and all those things. That's why it has developed thick fat, because it's a mammal, it has to maintain constant body temperature, and that is known as whale's blubber. This point I have told you in structural organization in animals, fine, regarding when we are discussing about adipose tissue. So during secondary adaptation it has migrated to, it is a mammal, it's aquatic mammal, largest mammal also, largest aquatic mammal also, largest mammal also. And in whale also we come across 7, in camel also, rabbit also, human being also, horse also, in monkeys, chimpanzees, all the mammals including giraffe, they have only 7 vertebrae in their neck, that they are known as cervical vertebrae. Next question, which of the following statement is incorrect? He is asking you the wrong statement. So the first statement says that heart muscles are striated, correct, and involuntary in function. Of course, very much correct. Heart muscles are striated. They have dark and light bands, that is A bands and I bands, fine, isotropic bands and anisotropic bands having Z lines and A lines respectively. So this statement is correct, fine. Next statement, the muscles of the hands and legs are striated and voluntary. Of course correct, fine, they are also striated. But what is the difference here between the first statement and second statement? Here they are involuntary in heart, and in hands and legs they are voluntary. That is nothing but they are under the control of the central nervous system. They are also striated, fine. So this statement is also correct. In the question he is asking you the incorrect statement, so we have to find out here the wrong statement. The third statement says that muscle located in the reproductive tract are unstriated and involuntary. Of course this statement is also correct. The meaning of unstriated we have told you here as smooth muscles, fine. Smooth muscles are, of course, they are involuntary, fine. They are found present in the stomach. They are responsible for peristaltic movement. In small intestine they are responsible for segmentation movement. In the reproductive tract, in the uterus also, during normal childbirth parturition, they bring about muscular contraction and relaxation and some expansion also to some extent, and they are involuntary in function. So that statement is also correct. Here we have to find out the incorrect statement. The fourth statement says the muscles located in the inner walls of the alimentary canal. Inner walls of the alimentary canal are striated and involuntary. In this statement, this involuntary is correct word, but striated is wrong. Thus, this whole statement becomes wrong here. In the alimentary canal, inner walls of the alimentary canal, we come across smooth muscles or nothing but unstriated muscles. Since in this statement, this word striated is there, this is the wrong statement, incorrect statement. Thereby, this is the answer. I hope it's clear. Right. Next question, cervical vertebrae in one of the following are 7. Where I told you in the previous question, in all the mammals it is 7. Option 1 rabbit, option 2 elephant, option 2 giraffe. As I told you, in all the mammals there are 7 vertebrae in the neck. So thereby the option 4, all of these is correct answer. Next question, macrophages and leukocytes exhibit. So first of all, what are macrophages? They are nothing but large cells. They bring about phagocytosis, hence they are macro, large cells. Phages because they bring about phagocytosis. They engulf harmful cells, bacterial cells, pathogenic cells, dead cells, fine, which are harmful to the body. So macrophages you have studied in 7th chapter. Leukocytes, they are nothing but WBCs, white blood corpuscles, fine, irregular, fine, clear cells. So what movement they exhibit, because in the basic thing we have told you, cellular movement, flagellar movement, fine, ciliary movement, amoeboid movement, fine. So amoeboid movement refers to irregular movement, or the movement takes place with the help of formation of pseudopodia that we come across in case of macrophages, and leukocytes also exhibit the movement, classical movement known as amoeboid movement. What movements means to say that the cells which move irregularly, fine, and also during their movement they also produces pseudopodia. So such movement is referred as amoeboid movement. Amoeboid movement that doesn't only restricted to amoeba. So the movement which is exhibited by cells which is similar to amoeba, such a movement in general collectively referred as amoeboid movement. The other type of movement, ciliary movement, in case of columnar cells and ciliated epithelial tissue, and in unicellular organ like paramecium we come across flagellar movement with the help of flagella, ciliary with the help of cilia in case of paramecium, flagellar movement in case of euglena, gliding movement, fine, which glides one on the other. So such a movement is referred as gliding movement. So here the classical movement is known as amoeboid movement. Next question. That is joint between bones of the human skull, fine. During explanation of the axial skeleton I told you, fine, these joints are merged into the one another because these joints are like wavy joints, fine. So such joints I have told you they are known as sutures, and here in these joints the fibers are responsible, hence it is known as a fibrous joint. What joint? Fibrous joint. Hinge joint I have told you in ankle, in elbow, like hinges I told you, given the example of doors also. Synovial joint with the presence of the joint that has taken place between two bones with the help of synovial fluid is known as synovial joint. Clear? Cartilaginous joints, fine, the joints where two bones are joined together with the help of cartilage in between. Classical example about spinal cord or vertebral column is a cartilaginous joint. So here in sutures like, fine, in this like this, fine. So such joints are known as fibrous joints, where fibers are in between. Due to the presence of fibers, joint has been taken place. So such a joint is known as fibrous joint. Next question. In mammals, the lower jaw is made up of maxilla, fine, dentary, mandible, and ethmoid bone. Ethmoid is a type of the bone, fine, which is a U-shaped bone, and this bone is not connected to any other bone which found present below the tongue. Such a bone is known as ethmoid bone. So mandible, maxilla, So here in mammals, the lower jaw is made up of dentary. What do you mean by dentary? The dentition means to say. So dentary, the arrangement of the teeth in the lower jaw, that is known as dentition. It's almost same, dentary. Clear? Next question. Longest bone is that of A1 humerus, 2 tibiofibula, 3 femur, and 4 radioulna. Right? I have told you during explanation also, I showed you the bone, that bone also. Longest bone in human body is nothing but the femur that is found present from the hip till the knee region. So that's the longest bone in the legs, that is known as femur. During explanation of that I told you that it will be asked in NEET also, and moreover along with that I told you the smallest bone also in the body, incus, stapes, malleus, they are the smallest bones of the body. Clear? Fine. So this is femur here. Humerus, it is from shoulder to elbow, fine, in hands, whereas femur is from hip region till the kneecap or knee, fine, patella. So that bone is known as femur, and it is the longest bone also, fine. So next question, followed by the next question is the clavicle or collarbone. Clavicle is also known as collarbone. I told you clavicle, the collarbone articulates with, fine, articulates with means to say that it combines with what process, or articulates means it joins, it combines, it makes processes, fine. Clavicle is nothing but the nothing but the collarbone. Fine, I showed you the fine curved bone, collarbone. Cervical vertebrae cannot be, it is not directly connected with the neck bones. Clavicle cavity, no. Coxal bone also no. Fine. Here the processes by which they are attached to other bones are known as such processes. There are different types of processes. One is known as acromion processes. So clavicle bone or collarbone, fine, articulates with acromion processes. Next one, in human beings, the second cervical vertebra helps, vertebra singular, vertebrae plural. In human beings, the second cervical vertebra helps in rotator movement of the head through knob-like process called. So here, the second vertebra axis and when clear below that axis, fine. So one more bone, the second vertebra is known as, it is because of the presence of that ball-like structure, we able to move our neck or head 90 degree towards right and 90 degree towards the left. So this is which bone he is asking, fine, clear. Rezygophysis, prezygophysis, postzygophysis, odontoid process and metaphysis, fine. There are the different process. Knob-like process called odontoid process, fine. Because of the presence of that odontoid bone, fine, clear, we are able to move our neck. Whereas in case of birds, same concept, same procedure, but they are able to turn 180 degree right side, 180 degree on the left side. So altogether 360 degree, fine. So here in case of human beings and other mammals, fine, few mammals, 90 degree onto right hand side and 90 degree towards the left hand side, odontoid process. Okay. Next one, humerus does not articulate with humerus bone, that is, you know all that, fine. It is found present from shoulder till the elbow. In shoulder, that bone is known as scapula, fine, and from the elbow two bones starts. One is known as upper one is known as radius and the lower one is known as ulna, fine. Towards the thumb that is known as the radius, and towards the small finger, fine. So this is the radius, fine, and this is ulna. So these two bones. So humerus meets with radius also, with ulna also in the elbow region, and it also meets with the scapula. Scapula is nothing but the shoulder bone. I showed you this, the triangular, like somewhat triangular shape it comes, fine. This meets with clavicle, fine. The clavicle is nothing but collarbone, but the question here is humerus does not articulate with clavicle, fine. Clavicle combines with scapula, then this humerus combines with scapula, from scapula till radius and ulna. But the question here, humerus does not meet with clavicle, I hope it's clear, fine. Next one, ATPase, an enzyme of the muscle, is located in, where he is asking, actin, actinin, 2 troponin, 3 actin and 4 myosin. Actin and myosin are the muscle proteins, fine. They are known as actin, myosin, fine. Actinin, troponin also, they are proteins which we come across in case of sliding filamentous theory, where the thin filament moves on the thick filament. So that is known as sliding filamentous theory. There we come across many different proteins, but here ATPase of the muscle is located in the protein known as myosin protein. Which protein? Myosin. ATPase, for the release of the energy in the form of ATP is used here, so that thereby the movement of the muscles can take place. Moving on to next questions. Contraction of muscle fiber takes place by the sliding of, what is asking just now, I told you, thin filament slides over the thick filament. Option 1, he says thin filament over the actin filament, no. Thin filament over the thin filament, again no, not possible. Thick filament over the myosin filament, no. So in sliding theory, thin filament over, it moves over, it rolls over the thick filament. Very simple concept. Thin filament can easily move on the thick filament, whereas the thicker filament cannot move on the thin filament. So this is a simple concept. It is explained by gliding theory, fine, a sliding theory. So thin filament moves over, rolls over the thick filament is the correct option. Next, which of the following statement is incorrect? Incorrect means wrong statement is asking you. Fine, be careful with that. First option, first statement, cells of human body exhibit 3 main types of movement. Of course, it's a correct statement. What are those three different types of movement? Is nothing but amoeboid movement, fine, ciliary movement, fine, and flagellar movement. These are the three basic modes of movement that is exhibited by human cells and other cells. So that statement is correct. The second statement is locomotory structures need to be different from those affecting other type of movement, whereas this statement is not so correct, because locomotive structures need to be different, so they can be of same and they perform the function. We will give the example in the 7th chapter, homologous organs in analogous organs, in second year. You will understand about that. So certain organs, fine, clear, so they need not be different, they can be same, and they bring about locomotion and different types of movement. So this statement is wrong. The third statement says locomotion is generally for the search of food, shelter, mate, suitable breeding ground, favorable climatic conditions, or to escape from enemies or predators. Correct statement, because migration takes place by animals, birds, human beings in search of food, shelter, fine, the gender, and due to overcome certain climatic conditions, migration takes place. This is the correct statement. Fourth statement, locomotion requires a perfect coordinated activity of muscles, skeletal, and nervous system. Of course correct, because certain muscles are voluntary, certain muscles are involuntary. So the voluntary muscles comes under the central nervous system, under the control of central nervous system. Hence you need the support of central nervous system also, and the muscles are attached to bones, fine, cartilage. So skeletal tissue also has to support and coordinate. Thereby this statement is also correct statement. In the question we have to find out incorrect statement, that is the wrong statement. So far what we have learned is option 2 of the second statement is incorrect. That is nothing but locomotory structures need to be different from those affecting other type of movements. Fine, they can be same, because structures can be same and movements can be different also, movements can be same also. So that's the statement that is wrong so far. So second statement. Next question, muscle causing movement of food in stomach. Many times we have told you smooth muscles, they are known as unstriated muscles. In digestion chapter also we have told you, in structural organization also we have told you, they are known as smooth muscles or they are known as unstriated. And the meaning of unstriated is nothing but they don't have any striations or bands. Hence they are known as unstriated muscles. They bring about peristaltic movement, fine, in esophagus, in the food, esophagus and stomach, and segmentation movement in the intestine. So the muscles causing movement in food in stomach is unstriated muscles, nothing but smooth muscles. Striated, they are present in hands, legs, cardiac, absolutely, exclusively in case of heart, specialized muscles in other parts of the body. Next question, a characteristic feature of the muscle fiber is the presence of large number of parallel arranged filaments in the sarcoplasm called. Fine, he has given both. Fine, he has given, that is what sarcoplasm is nothing but the cytoplasm of the muscle. I have told you in introduction. Fine, what he is asking is characteristic feature of the muscle fiber is in the presence of large number of parallel arranged filaments in the sarcoplasm. They are called as microfilaments, and they are also known as microtubules. A 1 also correct, 2 also correct. Thereby option 4, both 1 and 3 are correct. That is nothing but microfilaments and myofibrils. Clear? So next question. During resting stage, the binding site of actin filament for myosin remains masked by. The meaning of masked here is covered by, overlapped by, surrounded by. So here, if you see the diagram, you will understand. Fine, troposin is a protein that, so gactin, troponin and myromycin are the not. Fine, troponin also is involved, but the question here is, find the site of actin filament for myosin remains masked by the protein known as tropomyosin. First troponin gets activated, that leads to the activation of the tropomyosin. Thus the sliding filamentous theory takes place, movement takes place in our muscles. Next question, anisotropic band is made up of. Anisotropic band, A band, what we call commonly, is known as anisotropic band. It's made up of myosin filament. Which filament? Myosin filament. Isotropic band is made up of actin filaments. Very simple. I bands, actin filaments. Fine. Anisotropic A bands, myosin filament. Fine. Remember that. Okay. Next question. The hard protective outer covering for the brain is called. Hard protective outer covering of the brain is called cranium. He says hard protection because you all know that you might have studied in neural control coordination that brain is covered by 3 layers. They are collectively known as meninges. Fine. They are known as pia mater, araconite and duramatter. So they are covered. He's asking hard protective cover, that's nothing but skull, and we call it as cranium. What we call it as cranium, and that cranium is made up of 8 bones. How many bones? 8 bones. Fine. Frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal. Fine. Frontal is 1, parietal 2, pair, occipital also pair. Fine. Then temporal also paired. Below that is the lower jaw. 8 bones are the skull, cranium. During explanation I have told you. So it is known as cranium and 8 bones, made up of 8 bones. Next question. Functional unit of a striated muscle. This is a very important question. They may ask you in the examination also. Fine. The functional unit of striated muscle is called sarcomere. What is known as sarcomere? In our study material also we have given you this statement. For 1 mark also they may ask, define sarcomere, but your exams are over. So functional unit of striated muscle is called sarcomere. Next question. During muscular contraction, the myosin head, which head? Myosin head. Fine. The myosin head binds to the exposed active site on actin to form. What is here? Try to understand. Myosin binds to actin, where such a site, such a place is known as active site. This terminology you might have come across in case of enzyme and substrate also. Active site, where the substrate comes and binds to enzyme to form enzyme substrate complex. Fine. Similar theory, lock and key theory, lock and key mechanism in second year also will tell you this. Antigen antibody binding site also comes there. In biotechnology also, when we talk about plasmids, there also we say active site or binding site. So remember this general terminology. So myosin head comes and binds to the active site on actin to form cross bridges. What they form? They form cross bridges. Next question. In which of the following step of muscle contraction energy is utilized in the form of ATP? Clear? Release of calcium ion into sarcoplasm, no. Formation of cross bridges. To form cross bridges we need the utilization of ATP. Fine. So that's why the statement 2 is the correct answer. What do you mean by cross bridges? Actin binds to myosin. So the connection which is formed here by binding of the actin over myosin, such a connection, the joints are known as cross bridges. There will be formation of cross bridges and breakage of cross bridges that leads to movement. During contraction of muscle, calcium attaches to. During contraction of muscle, calcium attaches to troponin A, troponin C. Calcium, that's why it is named as troponin C. Thereby, answer second option is the answer. Next one. Immediate source of energy for muscle contraction is. The source of energy itself is nothing but ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It cannot be guanosine triphosphate and creatinine and glucose phosphate. It is immediate because energy, ATP is known as energy currency of the cell. If it is in the form of an ATP, thereby it can be utilized easily. Thus, immediate source of energy for muscle contraction is ATP. In other chapters also, you might have studied one glucose molecule releases 38 molecules of ATP. So during a strenuous exercise, what do you mean by strenuous? Due to that exercise, you are feeling fatigue, strain. You are feeling fatigue. You are feeling exhausted. You are feeling tired. Such a thing is known as during strenuous exercise. Glucose is converted to lactic acid. Fermentation takes place. Glucose is converted to lactic acid, and because of the formation of lactic acid, muscles undergo fatigue. Fine. And you feel tired. Just classical example in digestion chapter. Fine. We have told you that after consuming fine curd, you feel yawning like, or dizziness, feeling sleepy, dull, inactive, tired, fine, sust, must, all those things. Why? Because of the more amount of lactic acid in muscles and cells. So because of that you feel what? Fatigue. That's what is known as. So when glucose is converted, exhausted, energy is exhausted, and after that energy exhaustion takes place, lactic acid is deposited into muscles and joints, that leads to strain or tiredness. I hope it's clear. Try to understand the physiology of other chapters and try to collect the information. Select out the function of the vertebral column from the following. Fine. The functions of vertebral column. 1. It protects the spinal cord. It's a correct statement. Second, it supports the head. That's also correct statement. It serves as the point of attachment for ribs. Vertebral column, of course, from backside, ribs are attached to vertebral column. That's also correct statement. Then followed by fourth statement, that is nothing but it serves as the point of attachment for muscles, for musculature of the back. That's also correct statement. So thereby all four statements are correct. So option 1, which says 1, 2, 3 and 4 are correct. Next question, how many phalanges? Phalanges refers to, I have told you during explanation, fine, phalanges refers to fingers, the joints, fingers. In fingers we come across joints. So clear? So 14, fine, and 28, 56. These are nothing but phalanges. Fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and here in thumb 13, 14. So in one hand we come across 14 phalanges. 14, 3, 6, 9, 12, and here 2, 14 phalanges. So in one hand 14, in the other hand also 14. That results in 28, and in the legs also we come across 14 each. So 28 plus 28 is equal to 56 in human adult. How many phalanges are present in normal human adult? 56. Next, acromion process, what we studied, fine, near the clavicle, fine. So that again same question, same knowledge question. Acromion process articulates with the head of the humerus, no. Head of the femur, no. Sternum, that is nothing but also known as breastbone, behind which we come across thymus gland. That's a sternum is nothing but it's also known as breastbone. Fine, clear. Sternum is nothing but the bone that joins the ribs together. Fine. Two sets of ribs are joined like this. So this bone is known as sternum bone. Fine. Collarbone, that's nothing but clavicle. In the previous question also we have studied, so thereby the answer is fourth answer, clavicle. Next question, number of bones present in human cranium. We learned that is 8 bones. Fine, I told you the names also, so thereby option 2, 8 bones is correct question, the correct option. Next question, ankle joint. These questions, few questions are on the joints. Fine. Ankle joint is a type of what joint? Hinge joint. We have told you many different types of joints. Fine. Ball socket joint, where ball like structure fits into socket, where acetabulum, fine, in the acetabulum, fine, the humerus bone comes and fits, fine, that is known as ball socket joint. Fine. Gliding joint, in the legs also we come across gliding joint. Pivot joint we come across in case of neck and other places. Hinge joint is nothing but the joint of ankle also. Elbow also is example of hinge joint. Next, acetabulum. You know that what do you mean by acetabulum? The depression like the groove which is found in the pelvic girdle is what is known as acetabulum. Acetabulum is present in dash joint, he is asking. So acetabulum is present in pelvic girdle, which is commonly known as hip region here. So we can say that in the hip joint here, hip joint. Next question is based on the disorders of muscular and skeletal system. In patient with masthenia gravis, fine, what happens is asking. Masthenia gravis is what happens here? Muscles become very stiff, very strong, very stiff, and due to which contraction of muscles takes place. Fine, clear? That also leads to death also, because of lack of minerals. Masthenia gravis, fine, it is usually an autoimmune disorder. Fine, he says aminoglycosides have no effect, fine, on the skeletal muscles. Fine, corticosteroids, fine, mineral corticoids are useful for the first line therapy. Regular plasmapheresis produces long-term benefits. Autoimmune disorder, masthenia gravis is an example of autoimmune disorder. What do you mean by autoimmune disorder? Means to say that, fine, the disorder that is caused due to autoimmunity. Now question arises, what is autoimmunity? So in second year 8th chapter, human health and disease, you study about immunity in detail, different types of immunity. So what do you mean by autoimmunity? Auto means self here. So what do you mean by that? Here our own cells, antibodies produced in our body, proteins, antibodies, different types of immunoglobulins we have, we'll talk about that. So these antibodies are supposed to kill the pathogens, the bacteria, disease causing organisms, germs, viruses, etc., but rather in a malfunctioning or due to wrong action of immune system and malfunctioning of the antibodies, these cells starts killing our own normal cells, whereas their actual function is to kill the abnormal cells. In spite of that, they start killing our normal cells. Due to that, certain diseases are caused, disorders are caused. They are known as autoimmune disorders or autoimmune diseases. We have classical examples like myasthenia gravis, rheumatoid arthritis, fine, juvenile diabetes, fine, hepatitis also to some extent. So such disorders are known as autoimmune disorders. Myasthenia gravis is a classical disorder of muscles caused due to autoimmunity, hence it is autoimmune disorder. I hope it's clear. Further information will be given in 8th chapter in second year. Hope so far what we have discussed in questions it might be clear. So keep studying. God bless you. Good luck. Take care. Some of you are asking some doubts on my WhatsApp. Keep it up. Those who have some doubts can ask and get it clarified. Keep studying. God bless you. Good luck. Take care.